Obi is going to be president. Most of them are not from Anambra State. I am from Anambra State. I was born and brought up in Anambra State. So I know Peter Obi when he was the governor of my state, and there was nothing much he did in my state. So those people shouting Obi, 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 they are not from Anambra. People who are from Anambra can never come out and shout Obi, because within 8 years he was the governor of Anambra. He did nothing. There was nothing to tell him about. So if you compare, that's why most of my people, they rush to Lagos. Why are they going to Lagos?
I'm not campaigning against Peter. He's not a candidate. So I rather focus on the things that I want to do for the Anambra and what I've done. If you look at when I came here, there was no security. People were not coming home. 69 people were kidnapped in the 8 years of the previous administration. But I came, I saw, I conquered.
No industry in Anambra State, except the brewery, which he built for the Anambra people, for them to get drunk and go and kidnap people.
All right, everyone, and there was this collection of videos that shows a lot of criticisms about Obi in his days as governor of Anambra State. And one of them was from Willie Obiano, that talked so much about kidnappings and other negative vices that characterize the Peter Obi-led Anambra State government. Also, there were commentaries on areas Obi failed by not encouraging companies or coming up with policies that will encourage businesses to thrive in Anambra State, and then that the only thing attributed to him was the building of Hero Beer factory for Anambra people to drink and get drunk and start kidnapping. Now, I will let you to watch this video and I'll come back with my take.
I'm not campaigning against Peter. He's not a candidate. So I rather focus on the things that I want to do for the Anambra and what I've done. If you look at when I came here, there was no security. People were not coming home. 69 people were kidnapped in the 8 years of the previous administration. But I came, I saw, I conquered.
That are wrong. Will I continue to shout every day where we parted ways with the governor that is sponsoring this rebellion? We were his pillar. At least, if not for anything, you have always known me to be behind him. When he achieved second term, he had a different game. And I said, look, I'm not somebody who can come and share around because you are controlling money. It doesn't work like that. I said, conduct local government election. I've always continued to say that, even in this studio. This is not the first time I'm saying it. Since 2010, he refused. I said, no, that cannot have only you as an elected official. We must have other people, because at the time we were having this disagreement, PDP had 30 members in the House of Assembly, 10 people in the House of Rep, 3 senators. After didn't have any. Conduct local government elections so that our party people can also participate in governance, and it became an offense.
Oh, that's the genesis of the problem.
That is the genesis of the problem, if you don't know. I have said it clearly, and each time they come to counter me, they've not been able to counter it. It is in the open, and the party people in Anambra State are solidly with me.
No industry in Anambra State, except the brewery, which he built for the Anambra people, for them to get drunk and go and kidnap people. That's the only thing. For example, I have made a statement. I expect Peter Obi and his people to say, Chairman, you lied. We built ABC Industries. That is how it should be. I am saying the only industry you brought in Anambra is the brewery, meant for Anambra people to get drunk, either to kidnap people or to forget about the atrocities you committed in government. Peter Obi is a disaster in Anambra State. Our rally was supposed to take place last week, Wednesday. We applied for permits and to pay the necessary fees for the use of Ekweme Square in Oka. We were reliably informed that he had directed everybody not to do anything with Labour Party. We thought it was a joke. 2 days later, they wrote us that the hall was the QMS Square was undergoing the construction. And I was in Oka. I drove straight to the place. I didn't see any tractor. The second day I went there, I didn't see any tractor. On the other hand, there was a deliberate attempt to stop us from using the QMS Square meant for the public. And what came to mind was what we did in Ondo State. We were in power in Ondo State. We didn't stop ACN then, PDP, from using any of the facilities in the state. In fact, some of them campaigned where we used. Look at Abuja. I am not aware that the PDP and the presidency has stopped anybody that can afford it, the use of Ego Square. I am not aware they have stopped anybody. So why would Peter Obi deny us the use of Ekweme Square when we are ready to pay? That was how we flagged off our campaign in Onitsha.
Oka was a glorified local government for 8 years. Peter Obi was governor. If you're passing through Oka now, over flyovers, you won't know when you pass Oka.
So what is
but
he saying,
most importantly,
what was he saying or when he said that? Look,
well, he has
some of the roads.
That's freedom of expression. I'm coming first. You see, the governor, when he launched his mission statement and vision, he had 4 cardinal principles. One is agriculture, industrialization, trade and commerce, and then oil and gas. But he showed some enablers. You know, by the time Peter was governor, what was rife in Anambra State? Kidnapping, armed robbery, all our big shots, nobody came home. But I tell you, in the past 4 years, people in Anambra sleep with their 2 eyes closed. Security has become, you're a journalist.
Now, looking at that video, you find out that a lot have been said about Obi by chieftains of Abga in his days as governor. One of them was Wume, who said that he advised Obi severally to conduct a local government election so that he will not be the only one that seems to be in charge of governance of the state. That other people that supported the party into power we have a say in the governance of the state, but Obi refused. Now, compare Obi to Tinubu or every other person that is jostling for the seat of the presidency of this nation, or that wants, and in the case of Asiwaju Tinubu that wants to continue as president after 2027, you realize that aside from conduct of local government election in Lagos State, Tinubu democratized the entire space by even pushing for further local government creation, which the federal government led by former President Obasanjo refused to agree on. And then the man went as far as creating local council development area, although not recognized by the constitution, to ensure that development troops into the inner part of Lagos State. Now, let's come back to Peter Obi. Peter Obi has never been seen by people who know him as that competent to rule Nigeria, but a lot of people will want to speak on ethnic bias. The Igbos, I've never been president of this nation for a while. Therefore, let Peter Obi be the president, whether he knows what he's doing or not. But rather, for some people to come up with other alternatives, better alternatives to Obi, we have a Ebonyi State governor that has continued to champion growth in Ebonyi State. Dave Umai, who is now the Works and Housing Minister. Of course, we may argue it back and forth that he's now in APC, that may not be able to challenge Tinubu, but there are other people that are better off politically in terms of performance than Obi. So why are the Igbos pushing for Obi? Let me know in the comment section, and let me also know, do you think, based on the antecedent of Obi, and all, or let me make it milder, all his incompetencies of the past. Do you think he's good enough to be the president of this nation? Hit me in the comment section. Subscribe to Trending Niger. My name is Lanre. I will see you in the next video.